Hey, you know how they call what doctors do practicing medicine? Well, maybe we should call what teachers do practicing teaching. I've actually had a really bad doctor. He assumed he knew what was wrong with me before even really asking, or definitely before doing any sort of exploration. And then when his remedies not only failed to work, but allowed the issue to get worse, all while creating frustration in me, and all that came to be, he blamed me for faking. It's unbelievable. You see, what I would hope that a good doctor would do, well, I would hope they would have an idea what's wrong before they actually interview me. And, have some contingency plans, like if it's this, we'll do this. If it's thing B, we'll, do the other option. But they're going to listen, they're going to explore, they're going to be aware of, well, they might not actually know what the problem is, because sometimes symptoms look really strongly like one thing, but upon a little exploration, they're entirely something different. And then they come up with a treatment plan after they figure out, the nature of what's wrong. So here's what I'm promoting. I'm promoting that a good math lesson is, very similar to how a good doctor would interview a patient. The vast majority of it is completely unscripted. It's anticipated, it's prepared for, but it's unscripted. You see, when I'm giving a lesson, I remember a large part what it was like to learn that topic and some of the pitfalls, and I've been teaching for a while. It's not my first time around the block. I know what students struggle with. However, if I assume that student A is struggling because of this one thing, and I just go ahead and address that one thing, even preemptively, I've done a bad job. You see, I need to be in tune with what is causing students to stumble and have difficulty, and I need to have things in place ahead of time that I can use. It takes a lot of experience. It's a really tricky thing. And the reason I mention all of this is because there's a big push. There's a big push by publishing companies that teachers just teach to their textbook. Oh my goodness, they are billing crazy amounts of money for these things, these textbooks, and they're saying, hey, all a teacher's got to do is show up, and on day one, open to page one, put it on the board, and just walk right through. The book will guide them through everything. It doesn't work like that. Not in high school. Maybe in elementary school, that would be okay, because they have to cover so many things, and how do you put them all together? Oh, I couldn't do it. No way. I would need a textbook. But in high school, you teachers should be experts in their field. The book is just a resource. The book can't be reactive. It cannot anticipate, what's going to cause problems. The math we teach in high school has been around for a really long time. Like, really long time. Nobody is reinventing high school mathematics. There's no new curriculum for high school math. It's the same as it has been, since it was established. And it will stay that way until, maybe somehow or another we get a different way of seeing things and we find out that this way is wrong. Now there's going to be some stylistic things like the way that square roots are written, for example, or cube roots and things like that. There's going to be some things that change just because our culture changes. But the math is the same. Won't change. Now, maybe what we emphasize in school will change. I mean, during the space race, high school math really became applied. There became a great focus on application. We're trying to build rockets, and we need rocket scientists. So we're going to teach kids the math that they would need in physics. Yeah, but there's all kinds of math. Now, maybe what our focus is going to be, like I said, maybe that'll change, but the math itself will not change. A textbook is nothing more than a resource. A good teacher will use that resource to the full extent. A good teacher will see the value in a resource, or, as is often the case, how bad a resource is. Right now, my high school is going through a textbook adoption program. We're adopting math textbooks, and they are bad. They are so horrible. The best book that I've found so far, the first set of problems in there, they give problems like this, like 6 plus 3 equals 9, name the operation. And they even say, they give them 4 choices: addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. That's abysmal. There is no place in high school for that. It blows my mind that that's in there. Other books are 100% procedure. They will give students 60 problems, all the same, only thing different, and the numbers have changed. The students don't have to know anything. They just have to follow a protocol. There's no thinking, none whatsoever. Other books, they proclaim to, teach by uncovering big concepts. That the one I'm thinking of in particular is called Big Ideas. And it's really ironic because there is not a single big idea in the whole thing. Every single thing that is said to be a big idea is nothing more than a procedure, and all very, very surface level. So here's what I would have to say. Here's the whole thing all summed up. Our job as teachers is to make students really understand. So before you figure out how am I going to teach the students this thing, you need to figure out what it is you're teaching. How does it tie in the future? Not the title, not the name of it, not what they're doing, what it is in its essence. So for example, if you're teaching, say, greatest common factors and lowest common multiples, what you're really teaching is you're teaching students to examine factors of numbers to see how they're related. That's what it is. That's what it is, and now it gets applied in lots of different ways. Reducing fractions, algebraic expressions. If you're finding cube roots, you can factor and look for biggest cubes. There's all kinds of things that come out of lowest common multiples and greatest common factors. Really, finding the LCM and the GCF of two numbers is only a little bit of what's actually happening right there. Textbooks, they only do the little bit. They can't do the whole thing. That's your job as the expert. So I'm challenging you as math teachers. Pick up this torch, carry it. What is it you're teaching in its essence? Don't rely on the textbook to be your curriculum. The textbook's lessons are not reactive, they're pre-planned. I would argue that a student with some curiosity, YouTube and Google at their fingertips, will learn far more than a student in your class with the same level of curiosity that's being taught to the book. Because the book is all procedure, and it has no contingency plans, and it's got a little bit of remediation, a little bit of extended stuff. If it's a big book, but it's sad. It's lacking, and it's your job to fill those gaps. Anyway, my name's Philip Brown. I'm the Bearded Math Man. I thank you for watching and listening to me rant on about, well, the role of a textbook and supportive materials and all that kind of stuff. If you don't know, I want to tell you real quick, I'm on a mission. I have a goal. The problem that I perceive that I would like to address is that students graduate from high school to have to take remedial courses in college up to 18 months, and I think that's a crime. Students also change their dreams. They change their career goals based on how much math they would have to take to pursue their job. That's a shame. That is an absolute shame. Now look, not everybody's smart enough to be a brain surgeon. Fine, but there's a lot of people that choose less than they could be because they're afraid of the math, and that's our fault. I want to fix that. So what I'm doing is I'm creating materials that will go from the beginning of high school all the way through the end. They're all designed with the idea in mind that I want students not just to learn the thing we're learning today, but I want them to learn it in a way that they can learn what is coming tomorrow easily. That's what I want. So anyway, you can find out more about that on my website, thebeardedmathman.com. Once again, thank you for your time, and let me know in the comments below what you think. Have a good day.